Hello students, today I am going to present the second video of communication skills, which is the first unit of employability skills. So let's start. Meaning and importance of feedback in a communication. Feedback is the important component of a communication process. It is defined as the response given by the receiver to the sender. The sender needs the feedback of the receiver in order to decide the effectiveness of the communication. The feedback tells the sender many things such as whether the message is received successfully or not, whether the received messages is liked by a receiver or not, whether the choice of the channel or the medium was appropriate or not. Next is the types of feedback. There are three types of feedback: specific feedback, second is general feedback, and third one is descriptive feedback. Specific feedback. It is a type of feedback that provides detailed or specific information on what the particular person did. Either it is well or poor. For example, after reading an essay on particular topic, your teacher may say you presented all major points related to the particular topic in a logical order with accurate facts and figure. Well done. Next is general feedback. In a general feedback, the feedback does not mention the specific reason of the feedback. For example, your teacher only said well done or good job. Third one is descriptive feedback. It is in the form of written comments or verbal conversation that help the learner to understand what he or she needs to do in order to improve their performance. For example, when you make a spelling mistake in a particular test, your teacher may give you a descriptive feedback as you know the concepts well, but make a lot of spelling mistakes. Take care to spell the words correctly to get good marks in your exams. Next is communication barrier. Anything that prevents the smooth delivery of the message or its reception at the sender's or the receiver's end is called communication barrier. Communication barriers may arise at any stage of the communication process and creates misunderstanding and ambiguity. For example, the sender of the message who is not aware about the cultural backgrounds of the receivers, then he may use some phrases which are offensive in his culture. Next is some common barriers to effective communication. First one is the use of jargons. Sometimes we use complicated, unfamiliar or technical terms in the message which makes the message difficult to understand. Next is the emotional barriers and taboos. Some people may find it difficult to express their emotions and some topics may be completely off limit or taboos. Taboos means prohibited. So, the taboos or difficult topics may include politics, religion, disabilities, racism, etc. These acts as a communication barriers. Next is the differences in perception and viewpoint. Different people can view the same situation in a different ways. If a receiver perceives and interprets a message differently than the sender, it leads to miscommunication. Next is the physical disabilities. Physical disabilities such as hearing problem or speech problems also present barriers for the effective communications. Next is the physical barrier. Not being able to see the non-verbal cues, gestures, postures, etc. can make communication less effective. Phone calls, text messages, and other methods that rely on completely technology are often less effective than face-to-face communication. Next one is language differences. Language differences and the difficulty in understanding unfamiliar accents are also barriers for the effective communication. Next is the expectations and prejudice. Expectations and prejudice may lead to false assumptions or stereotyping. People often hear what they expect to hear rather than what is actually said, and they jump to the incorrect conclusions. Last one is cultural differences. The norms of social interaction vary greatly in different cultures, as do the way in which emotions are expressed. For example, the concept of personal space varies between cultures and between different social settings. Such cultural differences acts as a barrier for the effective communication. Next is overcoming barriers of effective communication. First one is active listening. Active listening means listen actively, and this skill can be acquired and developed with a lot of practice. It may be difficult to master because it will take time and require a lot of patience. If we are not an active listener, then there always be a chance of miscommunication. Next is use simple language. It's important to remember the audience that you are speaking to. Use language that can be easily understood. Means you have to use such type of language which is easily understandable by the audience. Next one is give constructive feedback. As we all know, feedback is an important part of the communication cycle. So while giving the feedback to the speaker or the sender, it sometimes may be positive or negative. So it is very important that it should be constructive in nature. Next is the 7 C's of communication. First one is completeness. The communication must be complete. It should convey all the necessary facts and information required by the audience, and the sender must take care about the receiver's mindset, and according to that, he or she should convey the message. The completeness has the following features. First one is complete communication develops and enhances reputation of any organization. Next one is a complete communication always gives additional information wherever required. Next is consideration. Ensure that the self-respect of the audience is always maintained and their emotions are not hurt during the communication. So modify your words in the message according to the audience. Next is clarity. Clarity implies emphasizing on a specific message or a goal at a time rather than trying to achieve too much at once. Means you have to focus on a particular content at the communication, not focusing on the unnecessary things. Next is conciseness. Conciseness means to use least possible words to convey your message during the communication without foregoing to the other C's of communication. Now the fifth C's of communication is concreteness. When your message is concrete means when your message is clear, then your audience has a clear picture of what you are telling them. There are details and different facts, and there's laser-like focus. Your message is solid. Next is courtesy. In effective communication, we should use terms that show respect for the receiver. It is also important to address a person appropriately. With some people, we should use a familiar form of address. With others, we should be more formal. By using the word they, a larger audience is immediately addressed. Last C is correctness. Correctness means during the communication in any form, either it is oral form or in written form, there should be no grammatical errors. Next is writing skills. In writing skills, first of all, we should know what is a sentence. A sentence is a set of words that is complete in itself. Typically, it contains a subject and predicate, which conveys a statement, question, exclamation, or command, and consisting of a main clause and sometimes one or more subordinate clauses. Then next is the kinds of sentences. There are four types of sentences. The first one is called the declarative, next is the interrogative, next exclamatory, and fourth one is imperative sentences. In declarative sentence, we tell something and they always ends with a full stop. Next is the interrogative sentences. In these types of sentences, we ask a questions and they always ends with the question mark. Next is the exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences shows strong feelings or expressions and they always end with the exclamation mark. Last is the imperative sentence. In imperative sentence, we gives a command and they always ends with the full stop or the exclamation sign. Now next is the parts of speech. In English, there are 8 parts of speech. First one is noun. A noun is the name of a person, place, thing or idea. For example, Ram, Taj Mahal, house. Next is the pronoun. A pronoun is a word which is used in place of a noun. For example, Shan is a good singer. He also acts very well. In this sentence, he in the second sentence is a pronoun used in place of the noun Shan of the sentence number first. Next is the adverb. An adverb is a word that qualifies a verb in a sentence. For example, Seema is standing near the tree. The word near qualifies the word standing and hence it is an adverb. Now the fourth part of speech is verb. The verb in a sentence is a word that expresses the action being performed. In a sentence, there is a main verb and sometimes one or more helping verbs. For example, she can sing. Sing is the main verb and can is the helping verb. Next is adjective. An adjective is a word that qualifies a noun or pronoun in a sentence. For example, the lychees are red. The word red qualifies the noun lychee and hence is an adjective. Next is preposition. A preposition is a word that establishes the relationship between the subject and the object in a sentence. For example, Seema has brought some apples from the market. The word from is a preposition. Next is conjunction. A conjunction is a word that joins two sentences, clauses, or phrases into a complete sentence. For example, he is a singer and an actor. The word and is a conjunction. Now the next is interjection. An interjection is a word in a sentence that expresses some feelings, surprise, or a sudden joy or sorrow. Sentence with an interjection always ends with an exclamation mark. For example, oh my god, how does this happen? In this sentence, there is an exclamation. Next is article writing. Here you can see the format of an article writing. In article writing, first of all, we have to mention the topic of an article. After that, we have to write the name of the writer. In the first stage, we have to mention, or you can say we have to give the introduction of the topic. Next stage, we have to give the causes of the topic if it is a problem. In the third stage, we give statistics of the topic if it is a problem. In the fourth stage, we give advantages, disadvantages of the topic. And in the last stage, we give conclusions with warning, message, advice, steps required. Now the last topic is paragraph. A paragraph is a series of sentences that are organized and coherent and are all related to a single topic. The four elements of good paragraph are unity, order, coherence and completeness. So start from the first, that is the unity. Unity in a paragraph begins with a topic sentence. Every paragraph has one single controlling idea that is expressed in its topic sentence, which is typically the first sentence of the paragraph. Second is order. Order refers to the way you organize your supporting sentence, whether you choose chronological order, order of importance, or another logical presentation of detail. A solid paragraph has a definite organization. Next one is coherence. Coherence is the quality that makes your writing understandable. Sentences within a paragraph need to connect to each other and work together as a whole. And the last one is completeness. Completeness means a paragraph is well developed. If all the sentences clearly and sufficiently support the main idea, then your paragraph is complete. Thank you.